Hi, this is Julie Hines from the Detroit Free Press, and we're getting ready for the panel on The Office at 2019's Motor City Comic Con. And as of now, I'm cosplaying as Pam.
Hello. Oh, you made it. Good.
They asked,
This is gonna suck.
And they think I'm the cranky one.
he says, did anybody show up? Is there anybody out there? And I was like, yeah, there are a few people out there.
But they're all ugly.
No, you're not. You're beautiful.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm just joking. How are you today? Good?
Great. How are you?
Excellent, excellent.
Wow,
How are you
good
guys?
Thank you for coming out. And is there some sun out there by any chance? Did you bring it with you? Well, what did you do with it? I'm from Chicago, so I feel it. I felt it so much I moved to LA.
So we are going to be taking some questions because I figure that's what everybody wants to do. They have questions. There's a microphone right here. You can line up.
I have a number of questions as well.
So we're
For
going to
you.
answer his first. Go ahead.
Oh, my questions first?
What's your question?
I don't know. How many people here are from Michigan? How many people here are not from Michigan?
Sounds like the same people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the line? Where are the people?
Yeah, questions? Anyone? Questions?
There's no questions.
Run for
I'm going to
questions.
point out this is
Oh, Lord.
the Office super fan right over here in the front row.
The Office, where's the
Office super fan right
And
there.
yet she's not at the microphone. She's like, I got all the answers. I'm
She
done.
is too nervous, she said.
Wait, why is she the Office super fan?
She's my daughter.
Oh, I see.
And she watches.
Nepotism, even in
Other people
Michigan.
in here might have a bone to pick with you.
So her boyfriend, they watch the whole series, and then he says, so what are we going to watch next? And she just pushes the button, episode 1, season 1. And he was like, okay, I see how that is. So we'll just start here. Please tell us who you are so we know who we're talking to.
The character I'm cosplaying is Kara, and my name is Emma.
Hi, Emma.
And this question is for both of you. What was your favorite episode ever of the show to film, and why?
That would be when they rolled me in bubble wrap and harpooned me and rolled me across the parking lot and slid me down a flight of stairs on cardboard, and I figured that was the quintessential what was left that they could do to me.
We were so lucky that we got to spend so much time together, and most of the time we were kind of on our own studio in our own space, and it wasn't, like in terms of favorite episodes to film, I don't know that I have an answer, but I'll give you two that I think both Leslie and I would agree would be our least favorite episodes to film. One would be the fire episode, when Ryan started the fire. And the reason why was because, and we battled this throughout the show a lot, actually like Christmas episodes when they made fake snow in California. It was about 115 degrees in the valley, and we were all, because there was a fire drill, we all ran outside, and we were supposed to be in Scranton. We all had our suits on the whole time, so we were in suits like all week out in the parking lot for 115 degrees. I think for me, in terms of favorite episodes, at the moment it wasn't my favorite, but I think now I would have to say when Kevin spilled the chili.
Yes. So, do you really cook chili?
Absolutely, this is the best.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Brady. My question is, if you could switch roles with any of the other Office characters, who'd it be?
I never had the desire to be anyone else. Go ahead. Tell them the story.
Well, I've told this story a few times, but when I went into audition, the casting people brought me in to play the role of Stanley. Not a joke. So I didn't know Leslie at the time, but I knew that someone else would be a better Stanley than me. But I'd seen the British version of The Office, and there was a character on the British version of The Office named Keith that they decided to rename Kevin. And I said, well, if there's any character that I'm going to play, it would be Kevin. So I went into the audition for Stanley and read it as though I was Kevin. And I left the room, and someone ran after me and said, hey, we have this other role we want you to read for. And it was Kevin, and things worked out from there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I've seen like theories on this, and I've just always wondered, is Toby the Scranton Strangler?
One never knows.
Okay, I'm now finally going to share this with you. Okay, now if some of you get aggravated with me about this, then I'm sorry. You're gonna be aggravated with me. We've started doing these, Leslie and I. We've been to colleges and done many things like this, and we've been with other people. Everyone always asks about the Scranton Strangler. Okay, now here's my answer. None of us care. And the first time, I think it was when we were in Iowa, someone asked, and we looked at each other like, I don't know, like I don't think it was even a thing. But it's become this big thing online. There is no answer. I think they want you to think it's Creed, maybe it's Toby. But the other crazy online thing, I don't know if you've heard this, Leslie, but some people today have brought this up to me, that there's some other weird online office, like, conspiracy theory thing, that Kevin is actually a genius. Have you guys heard this? That Kevin is a genius and is trying to fool everyone by pretending to be an idiot.
Oh, God.
I also don't think that's true. Yeah.
My dogs are barking.
Your dog's
Hi, my name is Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi. So, did you guys think when Michael Scott left the office, the energy changed on set or with you guys as a group?
Absolutely. When you pull out an integral character like a Michael Scott, the dynamic, it has a shift. Did our characters overall change? No, Stanley was still cranky as all get out. That didn't change. Kevin was still Kevin, Angela was still Kevin. But in terms of the loss itself, we did feel that. That was tangible. But we went forward and...
Very successfully as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think I have a similar answer. And the other thing you have to remember or know if you're too young to follow the show at the beginning is that we were almost canceled after doing 6 episodes. And then we came back a second season, and most people thought we got renewed for a second season. We were only renewed for 6 more episodes. And we took a break in the summer, like before the second season started airing, and we left. We were done. We thought, well, we got to do 12 episodes, and then a lot of things happened. A little movie called 40-Year-Old Virgin came out. iTunes started basically, and The Office became #1 on iTunes, and things just kind of went nuts from there. But we feel very lucky, especially early on, we were able to do that. But to answer your question, we all, nobody was known very well. Steve had done this little show called The Daily Show, but that was before The Daily Show was cool. Rain had done a little something on 6 Feet Under, and other than that, people had done small things, but we all sort of hit success together. And so when he went to leave, it was like losing a member of our family. And the day that the rain came from the ceilings when he proposed to her, it sort of started there. And it was a difficult month when he left, that he was leaving. But yeah, we persevered.
Got through it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hi guys, my name is John. I was just wondering, who is offset? Who would be your guys' favorite coworker or character to work with? You can't say each other.
favorite?
Like, so you, like who would we want to work with again? Or like,
Yeah.
like character, or are you talking about actors?
Actors.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, that's a long list. I mean, you know, we got a chance to work with people like Amy Adams, Idris Elba, Kathy Bates. It's so hard to choose, you know, how do you choose from all of those actors? Cloris Leachman, Two Kisses People. You know, it's really difficult to choose, so.
Could you give me the funniest?
The funniest?
Offset?
The funniest person that worked on The Office, Offset? And we can't say ourselves? oh, we can't say the person we're with.
Oh,
Sorry,
what's the
sorry.
point? I don't know. It's hard
so
to say.
hard.
The most entertaining would be Amy Adams because she did musical stuff. She's got this repertoire of songs in her head that is just phenomenal, and she would always come up with games for us, music games for us to play on set. So that would be probably one of my more favorite people to, you know, hang out with.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's what she said.
There we go.
My name is Grace, and I have a question for Leslie. My mom's favorite episode is Beach Day, and I want to ask you, how did it feel to wear the big fat suit, and what up to against Jim?
You know, everybody here has been to the doctor and they had their blood pressure taken. Remember when they pumped that cuff up a little too tight? That's how my body felt inside of that suit. Yeah, so it's not a comfortable thing. It was not as comfortable as the bubble wrap. Bubble wrap is far more comfortable than the sumo suit. So.
Hi, my name is Marissa. I'm from Illinois. This question is for Brian. I was wondering how often the fans try to give you chili or chili recipes.
All the time. Actually, this has only happened once. On the scale of cleverness, I thought this was very funny. I was traveling a couple of weeks ago, and I was having dinner I was sitting at a bar, and I had just finished eating, and the bartender came over and set down some food, and I looked up very earnestly and seriously, and I said, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't order that." And she said, "The girl at the end of the bar just sent this to you." And I looked down, and it was a bowl of chili. I thought, okay, that's pretty good.
Dwight?
My name is Ella, and I forgot my question.
It's okay. You know what? Wait. Just let Freddie go, and then you can
Yeah,
ask.
let Freddie Mercury go. And then
Where you going? Ella, come back.
Dwight,
Ella,
come back.
Don't go.
Come on.
It'll come back to you.
Bears.
That's called
Beats.
a senior moment. You're gonna have a lot of those by the time you're my age.
You're just starting early, practicing.
Yes.
Can you describe your favorite pretzel?
My favorite pretzel. It's gotta have chocolate, it's gotta have nuts, it's gotta have coconut.
Yeah, and then
And liquor. If you can do all of that with a pretzel, then we can talk.
And then Brian, do you still like the band The Police?
Yeah, I'm a little sick, so that's all I got.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kelly from Grand Rapids.
Hi.
You guys. Do you guys find that you're typecast in other shows, like if you audition for other TV shows? I think I remember seeing you on like Them Pieces and just wondering if.
Not yet. That hasn't happened yet. Will it happen? Who knows? But usually I don't get called to be too cranky and grumpy. I think Stanley was the pinnacle of crank. So, where do you go from there? So, no, not yet.
Yeah, I get asked to play a lot of dumb guys. Yeah, I'll be honest. But no, sometimes sure. The story I tell, which is true, sometimes, and I don't know if any of you have had this thought since we've been sitting here talking to each other, but I'll be in a meeting and I'll be talking and I'll see people's eyes glaze over. And about 30, 45 seconds into me talking, I'll stop and say, all right, I'm gonna start over because I know all you've been thinking is, I can't believe he talks that fast. And so I start back over and we get over it, but yeah, that happens.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Brandon. I'm married to her. This was her Christmas present. My question is, I'm an elementary school teacher. I'm from Grand Rapids, and if you guys weren't in acting, what would you be doing?
Oh gosh, at this point I can't imagine. I've done so much other stuff that I wouldn't want to be doing anything else but acting. But I've worked in 3 psychiatric hospitals. I've worked for the Board of Ed. I've worked for the Health Department, for the Office of AIDS Prevention. As an administrator, I've worked for the Office of Cable Communications for the City of Chicago. I don't want to go into the corporate world ever again in this life or the next. I've seen what's out there. Ugh. I'll keep acting.
I think based on my specific skill set, being a professional basketball player is probably what I didn't do what I did now.
Good for you. Aim high. You ready?
When you were kids, have you always wanted to be an actor?
Yes, I did. I mean, at least by high school, and I went to school, to college for it. I did theater for a long time. In fact, I don't know, no one can seem to come up with the name of the building, but in my other life before this, I was doing theater, and I did a touring production of Tartuffe, and I was in Ann Arbor here for about 2 or 3 weeks at some big theater over in Ann Arbor. And when I was there, and the only reason I remember was Ann Arbor, I walked down the streets and I bought a Michigan sweatshirt. Sorry, Michigan State fan. I bought a Michigan sweatshirt in a little shop. I still have it to this day. And because I'm a huge sports fan, it's sort of like the Yankees or the Red Sox or Duke or North Carolina in basketball. I figured you have to choose sides. And I root for Michigan because all those years ago I bought a sweatshirt in a little shop. So I root for Michigan over Ohio State. And honestly, that is the only reason.
Let's see, I started acting when I was in kindergarten. It had always been a hobby, but it wasn't something that I thought I would make a living at. I didn't know anybody in entertainment. I had originally gone to college, bio pre-med, who wasn't, and ended up applied, did essentially get accepted into med school. I was there for 1 semester and was in the anatomy lab dissecting a body, and I was thinking, I'm not enjoying this at all. I just need a sign that I should be doing something more enjoyable that I would want to do, and then all the power went out, boom, and the lights went out, and I went, okay, message received, clear. So I got on the plane and I flew back and said, we will not be in MD. So, and then proceeded to have some other jobs and all that. Went back, got a master's degree, and kept acting and doing things. The first acting gig I got professionally was for a company called Evans Furs in Chicago. It was August, it was 98 degrees. I had on a wool coat with a fur collar, and they were throwing plastic snow in my face, and it kept sticking to my forehead while we were filming, and I got my SAG card, and I was like a professional actor, a very sweaty one, but a professional actor, and it just kept going, and here I am. So, so if you want to get into this business, then there's room. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for sticking with it.
Nice job.
I am Beth Baumgartner. I've got actually a question for Leslie about Kevin's character. It should be unique, but Kevin can chime in if you like. But during the basketball episode, I got to ask, when Kevin was draining those threes like Michael Jordan, okay, one after another, one of my favorite moments. I I gotta ask you, because I don't know if I'm gonna be honest about it. For sure. But how many takes did that take to really get all those?
He actually can play basketball extremely well. Yes. As well as he plays basketball, I do not play basketball. So yeah, so that's how that balances out. And he also can direct in terms of getting behind the camera and doing all that. He's amazing, yeah. So if you get a chance to do a project with him, yeah. But well, his form is he's an athlete. Don't let that fatherly look on his face fool you. He'll get you out on the court and he will kick your ass. Don't get it twisted.
Hi, my name is Oliver Angel, and I have a question. How many takes did the chili scene take, and more importantly, was the chili warm or cold?
You know what they call me? They call me Mr. One Take. Yep, that's all I need, my friend. So I'll tell this story. If you came by and met me earlier, you may have heard this story, but this is the true story. So, giant area, right? From the office, from Pam's desk over to Jim and Dwight's desk, into Michael's office. A huge area. The chili would have ruined the carpet, right? So they took 3 enormous, so halfway down the space, huge piece of carpet, and they found the same carpet, whatever that was there, put it down so nobody could see the lines. We had 3 gigantic pieces of carpet, and they came to me before and they said, we can do this only 3 times. There's no way that we can do this any more than 3 times. We did it in 1. And after doing it once, there was no way we could have done it again. My hands were orange and brown stained. And yes, the chili was not hot. I actually think they may have warmed it for me. So it wasn't cold as I recall, but yes. Yeah, that moment, I don't know how or why. I think we all thought it was heartbreaking and funny when we did it, and when we read it. It was just one of those things that caught lightning, and I don't know why it's become this moment now, but it's like every Monday, it's like going into the Mondays, like, there's another thing which is like, it's, I don't know, every month, it's like, 7 years ago, Kevin spilled the chili. And that's every month that comes out. The first time I thought, oh, that's cool, somebody calculated. And then the next month it was like, no, it can't be that. Another year already. Anyway, yeah.
The Lego set's really cute.
The Lego set, yes.
Yes, sir.
My name is Henry, and my question is, what scene was hardest to film, and what was hardest, meaning what made you laugh the most?
Got it. His question, if you couldn't hear, was what scene made us laugh the most? I mean, I have the one answer that a lot of people say. If you go back and you watch the scene, you can still see John Krasinski, who played Jim, like diving into the hallway in front, and you see Mindy Kaling laughing just straight out. But it was when Kevin sat on Michael's lap at Santa Claus. And I have a microphone right now so you can hear what I heard as I sat down every single time, and I could not stop laughing. Because as I sat down, he would do the same thing every time. Oh, what would you like for Christmas, little boy? And as I sat on the word boy, he would say, boy. And so right in my ear, and the mic could pick it up so you can hear it on the show, like people in the room, but I just kept hearing, and I just couldn't. That for me, yeah. That was, oh yeah, I'll give answer number 2, sorry. The other answer number 2, which you see me laughing because I never could not laugh, was the amazing, the talented, the incredible, Amy Ryan, who played Holly on the show. And when Kevin is at the vending machine with Holly, and he pulls out the change, she starts counting the change for him, which is funny enough. But every time with those big, doughy deer eyes looking up to me and saying, "This is a button." I couldn't do it. So you see when she says, "This is a button," the camera goes right into my face and I smile, fully admit it, that was me laughing, but I thought I could make this work because they jump cut very quickly, immediately to, "I'm totally gonna bang Holly." So I was like, well, Kevin would smile. I thought, in his head. So there you go. That's mine.
Oh my gosh. I'm supposed to have it. Oh gosh. I think anything in the conference room when Steve Carell would tie that bandana on his head. And I'm supposed to be sitting there, looking sullen and mad and all that, and I bit the back of my tongue so much until it was just kind of I would have to get a look on my face and sometimes deliver a line and not look at him. I just have to deliver the line and not look, because if you look him in the eye, you're going to lose it. It just happens.
You had a way harder job than I did, because I could get away with smiling a little bit, or when you were like,
I could only smile on pretzel day, and things like that. Maybe at a Christmas party if I'd had too much to drink.
Right.
But other than that, that character was supposed to be, and it was very difficult at times. Yeah.
But how much fun was it yelling at Ryan?
Oh, that was fun. No, Mindy had written an episode where, I'm supposed to yell at Ryan, and in the script it just said, "and Stanley rants." And I just remember, well, Mindy, what do you want me to do? She says, okay, well, basically you think that he's lusting after your daughter. And I said, okay. And she says, we're just gonna roll the scene. And she said, don't tell me what it is. I said, I don't know what it is. Just roll the scene. And we started doing the scene. And all of a sudden, I went into the scene, boy, have you lost your mind? I don't care if Jesus comes in this room. You lost it. And it went on, and I looked, and BJ fell on the floor. And then I looked around, and Mindy was laying in the floor. And she was like, that's it. But we got to do it again, because she says, that's perfect. So, we got to do that where Stanley rants at BJ. And once I got the two of them to stop laughing, then we've got that, iconic scene of me going after BJ, who is going to turn 40. I know, can you believe that's a vicious lie put out by, someone, communist Bolsheviks.
Yeah.
It's weird, everybody's getting older but me.
I know,
That's the weird
and
thing.
me, because I moisturize.
I just have a quick question. How many crossword puzzles did you actually complete inside the office?
I don't think I ever completed one because, when you're carrying it around, it gets kind of sweaty. So I went through dozens of them, but I never completed one because they'd start looking kind of mangy after a while. And, you'd fold back a page and fold it back and fold it, and yeah. But I went through dozens of crossword puzzle books.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for Leslie. If, before you were in the office and you were a teacher, how did it feel like from the teacher going to the TV show?
The personalities that I saw in the classroom and with some of the other teachers were similar to the personalities that I saw in the office, which is probably why the show is so successful, is that those personality types will be around you the rest of your life. It never changes. It didn't change then, it's not going to change for you. You heard it here first. Get ready.
But have a nice nice day.
Hi, my name's Eva. I just have a quick question for both of you. If you had the personality of the character Jim, who would you bicker with and prank? And you can't say YouTube.
If I had, so like if I was gonna prank somebody on the show,
If you had, yeah, like if your character had the personality as Jim and
Angela.
you got to choose.
and Angela, yeah. I mean, I feel like in my own small way in the corner back there, I tried to torture her at
You did.
times. But yeah, she was by far the most aggravating to me. Way more aggravating to me than Dwight.
Andy. Andy. I mean, he was right there. Phyllis and I, we could take him easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Darren. I wanted to know if you guys had taken anything from set for like you know, as like a keepsake.
That was dueling
Anything that
laughter.
wasn't nailed down, yeah. We took a few things, a few trinkets, whatever you could get up out of there, yeah.
So I have, yeah, so I took my jar of M&Ms. So it was, you know, 2/3 full. And I brought it home, I put it on my desk, and a few other things from my desk, but they kind of gave us free reign for our general area. So I bring it home, 6 months go by, a year goes by, and it was on the corner of my desk. I was not eating the M&Ms, and I realized that the M&Ms were going down. It was like, you know, it was definitely over half, and now we're like at a third full. I'm like, what's going, and I realized that the only explanation, unless I had somebody breaking into my house, was the woman who cleaned my house every week would come in and grab a handful, I'm sure, and throw it in her mouth, not realizing that they were like 14 years old. And so I was like, oh my, this is dangerous. I can't admit this right now. This is, I don't know. She's stealing from me, I guess, but also I'm poisoning her. And so I took them and I threw them away. So I have the jar on my desk still, but it is empty.
But she kept coming back for him.
She kept coming, well, she clearly didn't know they were poisoning her, but it didn't seem right? Anyway.
Yeah, so my name is Aaron. I'm from Detroit, and the question I have for you guys is, all right, so who's your favorite character other than the characters that you guys play?
My favorite character on the show, in life, and
in the show. Yeah.
Oh, I love me some Phyllis Smith. That's my bud. That's my bud. Yeah.
Gosh, it's so hard. I mean,
That's what she said. Sorry.
I mean, I think that in terms of characters, other than Kevin, because I have to say that. I mean, Dwight is an amazing character, and I think that you're supposed to say, which I think is true, by the way, that it's about the work, and obviously it's about the fans who interact. To me, in my opinion, the greatest travesty in the history of the Emmy Awards is that Steve Carell did not ever win an Emmy for his performance as Michael Scott. For me, it just goes down as a fan. I'm speaking as a fan. I think the layers of his performance and what that character did over the 7 years that character was there was phenomenal, unbelievable. So.
I agree with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was rigged.
What, the Emmys rigged? Oh my.
He got it done, Dee, so it's okay.
Hi, my name's Elise, and my question for you is, display.
It's okay. Go. You can go behind.
Watermelon.
We're used to this.
Oranges.
Howdy, fellas.
Hi.
My name's Ricardo.
Hi, Ricardo.
I wanted to say before I ask my question that my favorite part for Stanley is when they're trying to hire more people for the warehouse. Guy's eating his lunch. He's eating Stanley's lunch. And Stanley's super happy before it. And then he sees and he's just mortified. That was my favorite part. I just wanted to say that.
Well, thank you.
But I do want to mention one thing for both of you to think about. So we can all agree, if you've watched The Office, obviously, that Andy's little trick with his brother was kind of, you know, it was unknown, it wasn't planned. So when Andy went, he was expecting to stay there for a while, but ended up being there for a while. I'm not actually sure how long he stayed exactly. But my point is that everybody gets angry at Andy for leaving. But I kind of understand, because him and his family had been kind of distant before that, but that trip with his brother was kind of like the bonding that he needed to get closer to his family. So I've always understood from Andy's perspective, and I don't think enough people do that. I just wanted to get what you guys are thinking about that.
The character Stanley didn't care about Andy's relationship with his brother. He didn't want to be bothered. He just wanted to work his little job and make his little check and go home. So he would have probably, rejoiced at the fact that Andy was not there. And probably really wouldn't have noticed. Phyllis probably would have had to tell him, you know he's not here, and he'd have gone, and that would have been the extent of it. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that one for a while. I'm not sure where Kevin would come down on that. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. You ready?
Yes,
Good.
I know. So my question for you is, who is the worst about staying in character?
Mindy Kaling.
Yes. Yes.
No question. No question. Yeah.
That was an easy one.
I don't know that there was a scene that she couldn't
Didn't crack
a character. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Nate. I'm from Belleville, Michigan. I just had a quick question for Leslie. Was it more fun to yell at BJ or Michael Scott? That was an interesting one.
I think it was more fun to yell at BJ because, with Michael Scott, probably because he didn't fall out laughing when I first did it, but it was hard to yell at Michael Scott because Steve Carell is so funny that to get revved up to find something to yell about at him, it was just like, that was hard work. BJ, not so hard. Not so hard. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Brian. I'm cosplaying as Brian. I would like to know two things. Number one, how many push-ups did you actually do to go home early?
Oh gosh, push-ups, actual ones. The top part of my body was doing push-ups. The bottom part of my body was on a board. They had made a seesaw type thing. Yeah, imagine you're laying on a seesaw and the camera is filming you close up because there was no way, as you know, if you're doing a take, when you're watching it, you go like, oh, that's like 5 or 6 push-ups. But when you're filming it, 5 or 6 push-ups ends up being like 135 push-ups. This body ain't doing 135 push-ups, no. So Matt Sohn, who was one of the directors, he came up with this ingenious idea. Let's make he had 2 little kids. And he said, we're gonna do like we do with my kids. We're gonna make you like a teeter-totter. And he had some other people standing on the end and they would step on the end and I would go, and sweat and all of that, and it worked. Would Stanley have done something like that in real life to get home for real early? Yes, he would have, absolutely.
Absolutely. And then my only other thing was, I have to pay for that chili recipe.
It's priceless.
Thank you.
I have a question for Leslie.
You can tilt that mic down if you need.
Nice catch. Oh. Panel's over, mic
Please
dropped.
drop the mic. It's over. Rock star in the making.
What did you do with all the meatballs?
She asked what he did with all the meatballs.
We ate a lot of meatballs that day, believe it or not. They were actually good. I think they got them from Costco. Yeah, they were good. Those were good meatballs.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Noah, and this is a question for Leslie. In Starmageddon, did you hate going up the stairs?
Did I hate going up the stairs? That little narrow little staircase, it was, you know, I had on a wool suit and all of that, and again, walking up a flight of stairs, when you're doing it in real life, you're like, okay, I go up the stairs and that's it. When you're filming, you go up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs, down the stairs, halfway up the stairs, quarter of the way up the stairs, down the stairs, and you do it over and over and over again. So in answer to your question, by the time I was done, yes, I hated that little flight of stairs.
Thank you.
Hi, before I ask you guys a question, I just need to say this. When I was like 5, maybe a little bit older, I used to come downstairs when I was supposed to be sleeping and I would watch The Office from behind the couch. And my parents were, then I would get in trouble obviously, but it's okay. My question for you guys is, if you've seen Parks and Rec, do you guys like The Office more or Parks and Rec? Like,
Oh, The Office.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Seth. I was wondering, a question for both of you. What was your favorite That's What She Said joke?
I have one. On beach games, which was referenced earlier, which I think was the first time, maybe the only time, but we were eating the hot dogs. And, oh man, there were kids here, but basically, it was something about taking the buns and, Steve said, and wetting them so they'll slide down your gullet. And all of us at the table together said, that's what she said. That was my favorite.
That's awesome.
I don't think I have one. There were so many of them until, you know, it was a phrase that would break out at any time, it's perfect for all occasions.
It is.
Oh, I got it. The one that made me laugh watching the most was when Michael decides that he's gonna be good, and Jan and whatever, some muckety muck a lawyer I think is there, and is standing behind him in his office and comes out, and Jim baits him over and over. It must be so hard. And then he finally, Steve goes, that's what she said, yeah! And he's so proud of himself. That makes me laugh.
All right, thank you. I'm Chris. I've watched the entire series at least 14 times. I've only seen Scott's Tots once. What is the most cringe-worthy episode that you guys were either in or have seen?
Oh my gosh, I think the Yankee swap episodes were always cringeworthy, especially when, you know, somebody would pull out a heartfelt, you know, handmade, and then he would get, say, like Phyllis, when she'd go like, it's so nice, and he'd just, you know, and so those were cringeworthy, those were fun.
I think for me it's Scott's Tots, probably. I love it. And the other one, which someone told me this morning that they had a debate with a friend about which is the most dinner party is it's just horrifying as well. But those two.
It's horrifyingly wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to wrap up here real soon, so we'll take a couple more questions.
Hi guys, my name is Misty.
And my question's for Brian. Did you base the voice of Kevin on anyone that you knew, or where did the voice come from?
It wasn't based on anyone that I knew. The original casting notice for Kevin was the only thing remarkable about Kevin is that he is remarkably unremarkable. I think that after 9 years, we found that to not be true anymore. I think that there was a lot of remarkable things about Kevin. And so as we started with that description, and it changed as the writers, more fully refined what that character was and what he was going to be, and that we were going to be around for 200 plus episodes. The character definitely evolved. I had a really arty, nerdy answer for that question, or that sort of conundrum as the writers started writing in a way that I didn't originally think that Kevin would behave. And so my nerdy answer, if you ever go back and watch, was at the very beginning, Kevin was very, very nervous of the cameras being there. And as the cameras were there longer and longer, his childlike personality and unique charm was able to come out just a little bit more. So there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to have to be our last question, but they will be available at the table for pictures and autographs and all that.
After this, I have one more thing, but go ahead.
Well, you can say.
Hi, my name is Julie, and I was just wondering, over all the years and all the bosses that you've been through, who is your most favorite and least liked?
All my bosses through the years?
On the show.
On the office.
Mr. Jones.
Oh, yeah. I hated that bastard. Me or character?
Yeah, any character. Like
In character? Yeah, I don't know. My character wouldn't have liked bosses, period. He was, like I said, Stanley was like, whoever you put in there, it doesn't matter. He's going to be equally non-committal to all of them and just go, as far as who I liked working with, Kathy Bates was, she was fun. Just to, as an actor, to watch her and her technique and all of that, I found that fascinating. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You had something to add?
I want someone to raise their hand that thinks that they are the biggest office expert here. Who thinks they know more than anything else about the office? Truly, you get one shot at this. It's a one-question trivia contest. You ready? All right, right here, just because you're close. There you go, right here. Step up to the mic, please. Here you go. I got my one stumper question. Nobody else out there can help, okay? You can play along with your friends, but don't say it loud. Here you go. You ready?
Exam day.
This is for $1 million fictional dollars. You ready?
And sadly,
and being able to say that you won this totally rigged contest that means nothing. Here you go. What is Gabe Lewis's middle name? Quiet, please, everyone. You have 5 seconds to answer, sir.
I know it.
5, 4, 3, 2, stop. Daughter, come. Susan! That's the answer. Well done.
I did a good job raising that
Your daughter is the number one.
Thank you, thank you.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah.
Gabe.
Thank you guys so much.
Make sure you see them. Let's give them a huge thank you.
There you go.